Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm Jill Jardine, your host and trusted guide to navigate the celestial seas during the turbulent waters of April astrology. We're smack in the middle of eclipse season, and Mercury retrograde is going on till April 25th. Here's the update for April 2024. Stay tuned till the end of the episode when I give my sun sign forecast for each sign. Welcome to eclipse season and the episode on the astrology of April 2024. Go back and listen to my episode from March 26, 2024 on the spring eclipse season. We've got Mercury retrograde, a Saturn-Mars conjunction thrown into the ecliptic mix. And at the end of April, there is an epic Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus that will shine light on our financial futures. Stay tuned until the end of the episode when I give my sun sign predictions for each zodiac sign. I'll share the key dates and astrological activities during the month of April, and then go back and give more details. April has been predicted to be the most astrologically unsettled month of the year, so you will want to find out how to navigate through these changing cosmic tides. April Fool's Day blows in under ecliptic energies with Mercury turning retrograde on April 1st at 6:14 p.m. on the East Coast. The April Fool's joke's on us, as the planets are about to act up, stoking the fires of unrest and ill ease, waiting for the other shoe to drop. We are still reeling from the lunar eclipse of March 25th and preparing for the much heralded solar eclipse of April 8th, with the Sun, Moon, Mercury retrograde, Chiron, the wounded healer, teacher, and the North Node all transiting the sign of the rambunctious Ram. And then the Sun eerily disappears from sight. Balancing the April Aries firestorm are Saturn and Mars transiting through pacifying Pisces. But they are the two malefics, so we're not sure how much help they're going to be. They're ready to conjunct and join forces on April 10th post-solar eclipse. The two malefics may feel benign in placid Pisces, but they will be implicated into the Aries conflictual mix post-eclipse. We will need the Pisces spiritual streams to put out any aggressive Aries fires that are brewing in early April. There's hope glowing with a grounding Taurus connection occurring between Jupiter and Uranus, shifting the vibe to an anchoring influence.
Hallelujah!
Jupiter and Uranus will conjoin in the sign of the bull, which hasn't occurred since 1941, perhaps making the financial markets more bullish. Venus joins the Taurian love fest at month's end, bringing the blessings of the divine feminine, creating a menage a trois with the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. Meanwhile, all month long, Pluto is simmering in the embryonic degrees of Aquarius, whipping up the winds of change and future gazing into new and different realities. Here are the key dates for April 2024. We kick it off on April 1st with Mercury retrograding in the sign Aries until April 25th. April 8th, dun dun dun, the much heralded new moon solar eclipse in Aries occurs at 2:21 p.m. East Coast time. April 10th is the Saturn-Mars conjunction in Pisces. From April 18th to 24th, we're going to have that historical Uranus-Jupiter conjunction in Taurus. On April 19th, the Sun enters Taurus at 10 a.m. East Coast time. On April 23rd, we have the full moon in Scorpio with the Sun in Taurus, also known as the Wesak moon, a very high spiritual time for the planet. On April 25th, Mercury goes direct. April 29th, Venus transits Taurus until May 23rd. And on April 30th, Mars transits Aries until June 10th. So you can see it's a very busy and wild ride roller coaster during April 2024 with 10 major planetary events occurring during the month. And because of that, April will feel like two different months. As the month gets ignited by the Aries ecliptic fiery cyclone, with a mercurial manic retrograde thrown into the eclipse cluster. Wah, 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 wah. But by month's end, the Taurian blessings seep in from Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting and Venus joining them, granting us economic upliftment and romantic revelry. Mercury has an extra long retrograde cycle of 25 days. Mercury retrograde is usually 20 to 21 days. So that adds to the confusion. Mercury retrograde in Aries will complicate relationships, making people stew with their inner emotions or angers, which may emerge in rash or impulsive ways. The cardinal signs of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn may be at more ill effect during this Mercury retrograde in Aries. This Mercury retrograde cycle coincides with the solar eclipse of April 8th, which will stir up, bring karmas, and bring situations to light that were hidden. The ecliptic hand of destiny is spinning the karmic wheel, and the past failings and fumbles may need to be revisited and set right. Although the urge to act spontaneously and immediately may surface, it's best to sit with your feelings and impulses, letting them simmer down until after the eclipse and Mercury retrograde windows are closed. Also, in the collective, there may be a lot of cover-ups to what's really going on. So tune in and turn on to your own intuition to navigate your way through early April. And as it goes with all Mercury retrograde cycles, again, it's retrograde from April 1st to 25th, so most of the month, it's best to avoid signing contracts or making firm commitments during this erratic eclipse and Mercury retro cycle. Exercising patience is necessary. Unresolved conflicts may escalate, and projects could be waylaid or encounter obstacles. Aries energies tend to leap headfirst into endeavors, but there's a big risk now of making impulsive decisions or speaking without diplomacy. Mercury retrograde colliding with eclipse season will unveil concealed truths and information, but you should wait until the full picture emerges by late April before taking action. Slow down and smell the roses during this spring retrograde cycle. Reconnect to your inner self, contemplate your future, and get very grounded in your body, mind, and spirit. Then we hit the much heralded April 8th eclipse event, which has been blown up to epic proportions by the alt medias, conspiratorial types, Armageddon anticipators, survivalists, biblical quoters, and the nouveau New Agers. Nouveau New Agers are a phenomena that has appeared in the past 10 to 15 years or so, thanks to the internet, which takes morsels of information, dumbs them down from the deep esoteric, metaphysical, or spiritual meanings or texts, and blasts it out as a sort of deep guiding truth that does not have any depth to it. They take the porcelain and they make it the new rage, i.e., for instance, things like the repeating numbers 1111, 222, or spirit guide channeling, or any other new age fluffer nutter concept. This contemporary phenomena of the nouveau New Age is very different from the original New Age of the 1980s and 1990s. It's amazing to me as a lifelong astrologer how astrology, an art and science that needs to be studied deeply and practiced to be truly understood and applied, has now been watered down and snatched up by all these pseudo New Age groups to further their views, and sometimes put out their Debbie Downer future forecasting. The new moon solar eclipse on April 8th is a trigger event, perhaps kicking up confusion, conflicts, and distracting scenarios. I view it as a marker point between what has been and what is coming into our society, world, and personal lives. Pluto in Aquarius has been stewing behind the scenes, forcing the release of the old and unfolding the new scenarios. At the solar eclipse of April 8th, the Aries powder keg would be kindled due to some impulsive instigation of human sources or actual solar sparking from the sun interfering with the electromagnetics on the planet. Either way, we may experience interference in power grids, travel, shipping, and other forms of connectivity, such as internet and phones. We could view the recent Baltimore bridge collapse as a precursor or sign to the loss of connectivity. Bridges are a metaphor for connection and the smooth transition of goods, people, vehicles from one side to another, also symbolizing economic fluidity. So we may see an interference in all of these areas of connectivity, travel, shipping, our communication devices, and other connective means and modes. The new moon solar eclipse on April 8, 2024 occurs at 19 degrees Aries, conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries and Chiron, the wounded healer teacher. We have to heal the wounds of the past before we can move to the next level. This solar eclipse, new moon, will be full of revelations, disclosures, and hidden agendas coming to light. Pay attention to the signs and symbols at this rare celestial phenomena. Remember, there are shadowy elements lurking. Although it's a new moon, it's not the best time to initiate something new, even though it does occur in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. In astrology, it's sometimes recommended to launch new projects at the new moon. However, this new moon in Aries is eclipsed, so things won't quite take off as expected. And we also have Mercury retrograding. So any initiatives that the governments may launch or any aggressive actions taken by world leaders or governments will be thwarted due to the eclipsed moon. So don't fear if some major world issues pop up at this time. They don't have staying power, but this is also a very karmic signature as a solar eclipse. So karma comes home to roost. Drama and trauma unfolds. Remember, whatever version of verity you align with, verity means truth, this will become your reality. So choose wisely. Use the solar eclipse energy to upgrade the physical body and rewire our minds to align with higher truth and spiritual source. Dispel confusion, seek clarity, and adjust your life according to the bigger vision for yourself. Remember, new moon solar eclipses signify new beginnings despite the eclipse of the sun. Moon brings the emotional body to the forefront. Remember, you have to feel it to heal it. It's worth repeating the Sabian symbol for this new moon solar eclipse, which I shared in the previous episode on the spring eclipses of 2024. The Sabian symbol, an archetypal system describing the symbolic meaning of the 360 degrees of the zodiac, for the solar eclipse degree of 19 degrees Aries is, quote, the magic carpet of Oriental imagery. The keynote is the use of creative imagination, a way of life refusing a hectic involvement in the social norms and competition and waste-producing overproduction, which allows for the development of unattached and transcendent understanding. The static floor, symbolized by the carpet on which the man's feet, symbols of understanding, rest, can be transformed into the means of great flights of imagination and superphysical perception. The period of the rest from outwardly directed activity, bound to collective normality, presents the creative mind with the possibility of surveying in dreams the totality of the present-day social situation, thus to see whole. A strife transcending an unattached outlook upon everyday reality. This description comes from an astrological mandala by Dane Rudar. So these spring eclipses in 2024 are portal days. They provide openings to new realities or higher dimensions to those who choose to attune to the galactic and spiritual forces available. There are galactic downloads and physical upgrades pulsing during these eclipses, as well as the Saturn-Mars conjunction of April 10th, as well as the Uranus-Jupiter conjunctions of April 18th to the 24th, 2024. Post-eclipse on April 10th, the two malefics in astrology, Saturn and Mars, form a conjunction in Pisces. Saturn, known as the Lord of Karma, the Grim Reaper, and the Timekeeper, has the qualities of structure, discipline, and hard work. Saturn is the planet of form, and it has been transiting the sign of the formless or ethereal Pisces since March 2023, which blurs boundaries. Mars is the planet of passion and assertiveness, force and willpower. Mars ignites the fire within us to move towards action and achievement. When these two heavenly giants come together, it could trigger a boundary dispute, or we can see aggressive powers being used to take over an existing structure or power. In our personal lives, this is an opportune time for internal introspection and connecting to spiritual source. Again, the metaphor of the magic carpet comes into play, and rising above what seems to be going on in the world, whether it's real or a perpetuated illusion or show, just connect and fly on your own magic carpet, and all will be well. From Aries aggression to the Taurus terrain of stabilization, the planets shift notably by the third week of April, marked by the historic Uranus-Jupiter conjunction in Taurus from April 18th to 24th, the Sun transiting into Taurus on April 19th, joined by Venus coming home to her palatial planetary placement on April 29th. This historic Jupiter-Uranus conjunction last occurred back in 1941, which brought male wages into women's hands. Think of Rosie the Riveter. Women went back to work and started to make some righteous bucks. Jupiter and Uranus aligning in the financial sign of Taurus from April 18th to 24 initiate this rare financial cycle poised to yield financial gains. This conjunction occurs at 21 to 22 degrees of Taurus. So those who have planets in their natal chart located at 21 to 22 degrees Taurus or close to those degrees of Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn are due to make some moolah. The repercussions of others' financial prosperity extend outward. Jupiter symbolizes opportunity, while Uranus represents liberation. Placed in Taurus, the sign governing wages and salaries, this conjunction may echo the transformative shifts of 1941, when many economic stimulus acts were initiated in the U.S. Yes, they were part of a wartime effort, but they boosted the economy nevertheless. On a broader scale, global financial markets may experience noteworthy adjustments. In the United States, I predict this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction will prompt financial incentives or economic stimuluses benefiting the populace at large rather than specific interest groups. The moon and the luminaries start shining brighter as we get to the end of April. We are gifted with the full moon with the sun in Taurus and moon in Scorpio on April 23rd, an early Wesak moon coming in, traditionally a very powerful spiritual time of year. This year, we receive Wesak blessings after a wild ride through ecliptic and Mercury retrograde redux. Wesak moon is a time of great spiritual illumination coming to the planet from the spiritual hierarchy of ascended masters such as the Buddha and the Christ, who come near the earth at that time from the higher realms to enlighten humanity and assist with the evolution of the planet. So all is not lost as the Wesak moon shines in a new energetic, giving us hope and prosperity for the coming months. It's a celestial homecoming at month's end as virtuous Venus returns home to Taurus terrain to build new foundations with love and money. It's a love fest full of sensual pleasures and other delights during the Venusian visit in May. Mars moves into home court in Aries on April 30th to muster movements toward new horizons and ignite actions that were thwarted during Mercury retrograde. The month concludes as all is well that ends well. Stay tuned for my sun sign forecast for April 2024.
Welcome to 2024. This is Jill Jardine, host of Cosmic Scene, international astrologer. Hey, go to my website, JillJardineAstrology.com, to my shop page and book a reading so that you can find out what the stars have in store in 2024 for you personally.
Welcome to the April sun sign forecast. You're going to want to hear how these eclipses and Mercury retrograde are going to affect you. Here we go, Aries. Happy birthday. Aries wants to forge forward full speed ahead, but Mercury retro stops you in your tracks and your life gets eclipsed on April 8th. The Aries new moon on April 8th is a mixed bag for you because it's a solar eclipse, signifying delayed new beginnings as well as endings that perhaps you didn't see coming. Tread carefully, watch for impulsivity, and refrain from saying or doing things you will regret later. Aries new moon is mucked up by mercurial magnets and ecliptic electronic erratic energies. Go within to get answers on how to proceed with caution. Your lucky days, Aries, are April 7th, 16th, and 17th. Taurus. Taurus is saying WTF in early April, watching the madness keeping their stride slow and steady despite collective chaos. You're prepared for the epic Uranus-Jupiter conjunction from April 18th to 24th, when the money markets get bullish for Taurus. You enter the Taurus equinox intact on April 19th and ready to make some gains, saying, show me the money. Venusian pleasures take hold at month's end as Venus comes home to luxuriate. Your lucky days, Taurus, are April 9th, 10th, April 19th, and 20th. Gemini. Gemini is humming at April's onset with Aries planets and Pluto and Aquarius revealing glimpses of possible futures for you. You come down to earth with a thud, though, as retrograde mercurial madness becomes a major buzz killer for Mercury-ruled Gemini. Then, post-eclipse, Piscean planetary party with Saturn and Mars together can throw a whammy to Gemini. Relax and chill out, Gemini. Your birthday's coming soon, so get rested so you can rev it up then. Your lucky days are April 11th and 12th. Cancer. Cancer was feeling safe and cozy during the Pisces equinox last month and likes the continuing warmth flowing from Saturn and Mars in Pisces. All this Aries energy is challenging and even a bit threatening. Lunar ruled Cancer doesn't like the mean eclipses blocking out the light of the moon and sun. You get triggered out of your comfort zone at the Aries new moon solar eclipse on April 8th. Mercury retrograde complicates Cancerian communiques. Your lucky days, Cancer, are April 13th, 14th, and 15th. Leo. Leo is revved up in early April thanks to Aries' friendly fire sending you some oomph. You say boo to Mercury retrograde, and eclipses can't darken your shiny Leo sun. Your world expands with potential realities flashing before you. Stay grounded and balanced at the Aries new moon solar eclipse, and don't take any risks. Uranus and Jupiter conjunct in Taurus can give you a run for your money. Your lucky days, Leo, are April 16th and 17th. Virgo. Virgo realizes they can't control the cosmos, so sit back and watch the ecliptic energies and Mercury retrograde wreak havoc. When planets shift into Taurus later in April, you can plant healthy seeds and launch new beginnings. These seeds or new intentions being planted in April will be harvested during the Virgo equinox at your birthday. Solar eclipses reveal hidden information which you can use to your advantage. Your lucky days, Virgo, are April 18th and 19th. Libra. Libra, you're still reeling from that full moon lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th, 2024. So you are still in that blender, ecliptic blender through early April, and it may stir up the pot and throw you some unexpected surprises. Others may trigger you and force you to change your plans. Don't buy into others' impulsive agendas without checking out the details. Don't complicate your life right now by taking on new projects or other responsibilities. Just be Libra and observe, be present, watch, and wait. Your lucky days, Libra, are April 21st and 22nd. Scorpio. Here we go, Scorpio. Eclipses are out to make you jump through some hoops this month. Don't let stress interfere with your success. It may be a disturbing time for others, but Scorpio can swim in the shadows better than most. Mercury retrograde makes planning burdensome. Be flexible during April and don't take things personally. Keep on keeping on. There is the light at the end of the tunnel as you get a cosmic gift with the early Wesak moon in Scorpio on April 23rd. Things start flowing again. Your lucky days, Scorpio, are April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is getting healing and love from the Aries planet, throwing them nice vibes in early April, despite the retrograde and the eclipses. Sagittarius is forced to go within and feel the energies pulsing their way. But be careful of impulsivity and quick decisions. You want to live big, but be careful not to expand too fast or run before you walk, or your balloon will pop. You like the buoyancy of your ruling planet, Jupiter, conjuncting with unexpected Aries, perhaps giving you an unexpected boon. Your lucky days, Sag, are April 26th, 27th, and 28th. Capricorn is reeling from the Aries eclipses in early April, which is throwing difficult aspects to your sun. With Mercury retrograde, Sun, Moon, Chiron, and the North Node all going through Aries, it is forcing you to slow down, chill out, revamp, revisit, and reorganize your life. Use this time to go within and rediscover innate talents that may bloom later in the spring. Planets transiting Taurus with the epic conjunction improve your finances. Be inspired to find new ways to make money. Mercury retrograde gives you a chance to reassess, reevaluate, and revigorate your life. Your lucky days, Capricorn, are April 1st, 2nd, 29th, and 30th. Aquarius, you're ready for the eclipses as Pluto has been stirring up shadows since January 20th, 2024. You aren't surprised by anything, and you sit back and watch. The volume has already been turned way up, and you're staying ahead of Plutonian purging by releasing anything in your way before Pluto smacks down. Aries planets are kicking you to move fast. However, the retrograde says, wait, wait, wait. You may feel like you're spinning and vibrating at a new frequency, so bring it down to earth and ground. Use the Taurus planets and conjunction to embody the new energies in your physical structures. You have to teach people how to surf the Aquarian waves. which are inundating us now and for the next 20 years. Your lucky days, Aquarius, are April 3rd, 4th, and 30th. Pisces. Saturn in Pisces has been chipping away at your karmas one piece at a time. Saturn and Mars are getting ready to conjunct in your sign, showing you perhaps where you need to put your energies now and what isn't working for you. Be kind and compassionate to yourself and others. Lavish yourself with love and nurturing energy, especially at month's end when the planets shift into Taurus. You are the proverbial lotus rising up through the muck of the past year and the collective and personal subconscious to bloom like the beautiful lotus you are. Scorpio full moon on April 23rd, marking the Wesak festival. Blessings and boons to Pisces. Your lucky days are April 5th and 6th. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the astrology of April 2024, replete with the ecliptic mix, Mercury retrograde, and major planetary conjunctions. Remember to subscribe, download, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine signing out, sending planetary pulses of healing and light through the quantum field.